Scarves and Spikes, Sydney, Tommy, Tyler, Henry with you as the gang is all here, getting you ready for Atlanta United versus DC United. Guys, this is weird. Atlanta United, I kind of did this bit the other day, I feel like. Atlanta United, winners. What is this feeling, guys?
We have a win to talk about.
We have a win to talk about. We talked about it during the match reaction podcast, the match reaction show on Sunday, but it feels weird. Atlanta United on the verge of a winning streak if they defeat
Don't jinx it.
DC United. Well,
Don't jinx it, Sydney.
I am sharing facts. I'm sharing facts, Henry. It's a factual statement. But yeah, that's where we are, guys. How's it going, Tommy?
Winning Wednesday. It's been a long time since we've had a winning freaking Wednesday. We are back. We have a win. We feel a little bit of hope. It's been a long time. We had hope at the start of the season, then we lost a few. Forgot about that. But now we got to win, and we just need to build on that. And
now, hang on a second. I need to address a comment here, like literally right out the gate. What are we talking about, Tequila? What are you saying?
Henry brings us all
down. I'm not
Tequila
that negative.
Saying.
Didn't you pick them to? Did you pick them to lose?
Yeah, but that doesn't have to do with any of this.
Wait, so you did pick them to lose?
Yes.
We can go back and check.
All right, everybody. Henry is gone. Henry is gone, and we're back. We're back. The negativity is gone. The positivity's there. We'll bring him back, I guess. Whatever. There he is. Look,
I'm accused of being the negative one.
You're putting time out.
Yeah.
I love having control. Having control of kicking people out. Dax, you better come in with some positivity. I got the button.
Yeah.
I got the button.
Yeah, by the way, Dax McCarty is joining us a little bit later on, guys. So excited to have him back on the show. He is always a good conversation. So yes. Tyler, how are you feeling?
I feel good, man. This was the first Saturday night, Sunday, where I was like sitting and it wasn't just negativity on social media. And part of what we do covering the team, we're going back, checking social media, responding to people, putting out articles, putting on content, et cetera, et cetera. And man, it is just so much more fun when everybody's like, man, this really worked out today. This was fun. I get to ride a high for the next week. And it had the added benefit. I talked about this like before the game. I was like, man, if they win, we get to spend the whole rest of the day enjoying it because it was at 3:00. It wasn't like a 7:30 game. Then by the time we get home, it's like midnight. And then you're like, all right, I guess I got to go to bed. Miserable. I got to go to bed happy. I got to spend a day enjoying the high of a win and then a Sunday enjoying the high of a win. So I've been savoring in it.
Henry, how about you?
Savory Sunday is what it was.
Yeah,
Savory
I mean,
Sunday.
I'm also obviously happy that we had a win to talk about. I was happy about the performance. Like, it was beautiful soccer, and I was very impressed and excited to see these goals and the way that they were scored. Yeah, man, it made me feel things like very, very, very good things about this team. And I think that there is definitely a path forward. See, I'm not the negative one right now. I think there is a path forward if they continue to perform like this, especially some of the individuals that really, I think, shined, especially the 3 DPs. If that connection continues kind of developing and we see some of the stuff that we saw, especially from that third goal, then I think this team's in a very solid spot.
Matt Doyle, guys, wrote in his latest edition of Tactics Free Zone. I'll just go to his website. But he said, we're seeing signs, and I definitely get we're seeing signs of the 3 DPs playing together cohesively. And Dr. Martino says numerous times, Dr. Martino said, I can get the best out of these 3 DPs. I can get them playing at the same time. And it's early. It's still 4 games in, but over the past couple of matches here, guys, we're starting to see something we haven't seen from these 3 DPs. First off, they're on the field at the same time, so that's one thing that is unusual from the other seasons. But they look like they both know all 3 know what they're doing. they all three have a role. They all three feed off of each other, and we saw a lot of that on Saturday. Question is, can they continue in this way? I said, can this continue? Is this just a blip? Is this just, oh, Philly sucks, LA United took advantage? I mean, we'll find out when they play DC United, a team that one of us picked to be top 4 in the Eastern Conference. I won't say who, Tyler. But this is a DC United team that's going to win the MLS Cup, but this is an improved DC United team, and it looks like they've improved at least incrementally from last year, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I was going to say, like, again, like what you were saying is like how the win happened this week with the DPs, but defensively as well.
Yeah.
I mean, towards the end, it was a little shaky, but everything else, though, was, especially early on in the match, like, yeah, the possession wasn't in our favor, and they definitely had some chances. But I mean, a lot of it wasn't, they weren't the chances that we were seeing in weeks 1 to 3.
Yeah.
They were just they weren't just those type of chances where it was a 2-on-1 attack, and you know they barely miss or anything like that. Like it was defensively sound for a long time, and that's really what you want to see going forward here. Now Hoyos can make it a little bit easier on us by not giving us some heart attacks throughout the game. And I've already saw that we're recording our mailbag for Patreon later, and there's a question in there about him, and I can't wait to answer that one. But that's what's called the tease. It's called the tease. We will have, so join the Patreon, or if you already are, it should be out tomorrow or a little bit later than that.
I talked about that actually in my column, Risers and Fallers, which came out earlier today. Just look, Hoyos, he had 2 saves in that game because he only faced 3 shots on target. One of them was like this very weak ass little shot from like 30 yards out. And then you had the goal, obviously. And then there was another one that I didn't remember what it was. Philadelphia missed a penalty. Philadelphia just had a lot of opportunities to create very good chances, and they just couldn't put anything on frame. They have one of the worst, they have the worst shot efficiency in Major League Soccer this season.
Yeah.
That is how bad they are. You want to know another fun factoid out there? Lucas Hoyos is the worst goalkeeper in American Soccer Analysis databases. 4G plus. The worst. This is not good, guys. Yep. And considering, I wrote about this in my column, considering that literally on Sunday, Drake Callender and Roman Celentano conceded 6 goals. And Hoyos is considerably worse than both of them.
Well, that's a blip, though. We look at what's so funny, Tommy.
Just that. It's just like, I'm sorry. I hacked the database. I made him worse than everyone is. I was going to make him second worst just to make it not seem that bad, but oh my God, the worst.
The worst. Remember that on Parks and Rec? John Ralphio, that meme.
Yeah. Every time he goes to claim a cross or something, I feel like it's a SpongeBob meme, like firmly grasp it. No, he drops it. What the heck, dude?
Yeah,
grab it.
And it's funny because you look in the chat, like, I mean, Chris, you're saying Hoyos versus Typeribo worries me a bit. I think that is definitely a concern for sure. I'll throw this out there, kind of on the topic as well. First of all, Patrick, where did you get tacos and margaritas? Because we want to know. But no, I mean,
want to advertise with us too.
That's true. Yeah,
I just ordered some tacos and guac on.
You actually Uber eat yourself some tacos?
They'll be here before the mailbag. I hope.
But no, I mean, I see, like, you know, in the chat, this is kind of something I wanted to hit on. Like Jack saying, we need to win the next 2 home games. That'll have me more positive. Omar saying, I'm not counting my chickens until May. Which I think is about how long it takes them to hatch anyway, so that's fair. But like, I don't know, man. I said in the locker room after the match to a handful of y'all, like, yes, it's Philly. Yes, they objectively right now are a bad team. They're playing bad, but Atlanta won a game and they won it. Here's the difference, in my opinion, from many of the wins that Atlanta's had over the past couple of seasons, this one really felt like the team connected in the way that has been advertised.
Yeah.
It didn't feel fluky. It didn't feel like, oh, they just had a hot streak and won a game. It felt like, for the most part, they were dominant in many ways for 90 minutes. Now, defensively, still got to clean some things up, but defensively, they're way better.
Yeah.
And my biggest gripe, and I kind of mentioned it on Sunday, is defensively at the end of the game, you can't just concede possession entirely and let a team drill you over and over and over again. You have to still throw a wrench in their plans at some point. That's the whole reason that the goal went in and you didn't keep a clean sheet, because you just gave Philly essentially what they wanted. You just let them operate in your half for the almost final 15 minutes of the match. So yeah, cleaning up some things for sure, but it felt like all the things that have been advertised with this team since Tata came back in, this was the first match where they really all clicked. And I don't care if it's a bad team. The stuff that they did in this game, you can do that against anybody, because it wasn't just that Philly's defense was out of position or bad or whatever. This was the DPs and every other Atlanta player doing something right. It wasn't the other team necessarily doing something wrong.
Yeah, but can I kind of push back on that just a little bit, though? I feel like, can you blame the fans for saying, like, hey,
Not
let's
at
give
all.
it a couple of weeks until we, can really say this team has improved? Because yes, it's one game, and that chases off a lot of bad advice for this team. And what we talked about, this team needs to learn how to win. And if you get one win here and there, you can't really learn how to win because it's not sustained. And that's the biggest challenge. Can this team sustain it? You have the international break coming up after DC United, so sort of an interruption in your momentum. But at the same time, the last thing you want is to go in and just have to stew on a loss for 2 weeks, while the international break goes out. So that's where I stand right now on this.
I think it's very important. I'm sorry, Tommy, before you jump in, I just wanted to point out, I think it's very important that it's not just like one or two players that look like they are hitting their form, or that look like they are finding the right moment. It is a collection of players, and specifically the 3 DPs. And I think it's very encouraging that they are finding it now, this early. I mean, yeah, you lost the first 3 games, but if in the course of your third and fourth game, fourth one being a win, you find that they are figuring it out and kind of finding that connection on the field, then I think you're in a good spot. And then that's what we're going to see. Can they continue it against EC? Can they continue it in the game after, which I think is Columbus? That's going to be the real show of whether this team has it going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely, we did play well. I see the comment in the chat. We played well. Absolutely, we did here. But last year, we looked really good to start the season. Maybe we weren't getting wins, but we looked good, but weren't winning. These first 3 games before the fourth here was, we looked bad, and then we looked really bad. And then you got a 3-1 win, which is fantastic. So we keep talking about it, but like, this is not the final team that we are going to see here.
Yeah.
Maybe this is it for this transfer window specifically, but you still got 2 buyouts. You're gonna get some players off the books potentially in the summer, and there's gonna be some changes. But what can you do in the first half of the season? You have to stay relevant in the standings. You can't be at the bottom. You can't be at 10 points, 12 points out of a playoff spot by the time we get to the World Cup. You need to stay competitive, especially with, we've talked about it before, but the schedule here, got a lot of home games in the first half of the season because of the World Cup and getting the stadium ready and all of that. So you need to stay, decently. You don't have to be in the top 9, but close to it. You got to be in at least in the 10th, 11th range, and hopefully that's only a couple points out of the playoff spot, because you're going to have some ability to make some moves. Absolutely. You got, like I said, you got the 2 buyouts, and Steven's asking who's getting bought out. We've had this conversation every week, and before it was which DP are you buying out? Well, we're not going to have that conversation anymore right now because all 3 DPs were legit on Saturday. But there's some other players here that, just look at the midfield right now. The midfield is going to be extremely crowded with Jay Fortune coming back. That's probably where I would take a first look at to start this off. And then people then ask, well, then what kind of players would you bring in? Well, right now you have 2 healthy traditional center backs. 2. Baracol is nursing an injury right now. So you're going to definitely need to get some depth in there for the rest of the season. You can't just roll with 2. I know Baracol will be healthy at some point, but he could be potentially out in the summer as well. So there's going to be a lot of decisions that still need to be made. And the summer, I think, is going to be very interesting for Atlanta United because everything. Look, I'm not saying Chris is not doing it, but we'll say that Tata's sticker book of players has been working pretty damn good, and in his first window.
Yeah. And I want to hit on this in the chat, talking about William Boss play. Tequila saying he had a good game. Tyler, you wrote about it on scarsandspikes.com. Your conversation with Tristan after the match, how it kind of related to what you saw in preseason down in Texas. So I think he has a chip on his shoulder. And when we look at a player like Tristan, you look at a lot of the players that came in like a few years ago, Saba, etc. This is their 3rd coach that they've played for. Moranchuk, this is their 3rd coach that they've played for. So Tristan, especially for the reasons, Tommy, that you just brought up, has pretty much a clean slate because he has to show that, hey, I'm in Tata Martino's plans, and if I don't get my form straightened out, I could stand to be off the team. And that's a big contract. We've already talked about it's a big contract. There's definitely going to be some decisions to make as far as William Ba, as far as the midfield is concerned, I feel like. But yeah, I want to hit on that, Tyler, because you had written about it on the website.
Yeah. If you haven't checked it out yet, it was just a moment I was able to talk to Tristan kind of near the end of the availability in the locker room after this match. And it was interesting because he got a little more tactical than I kind of expected him to. And it was refreshing. And he straight up said, like, he is more comfortable playing as an 8. And I think we can all see that, right? He said, naturally I play as an 8, a double pivot. So him being kind of placed as the number 6, go check out the articles. I've got the screenshots that point out exactly like where he is at with each goal and kind of what his role was. His role and the role of the number 6 in Tata Martino ball, period, is be the fail-safe for the center backs when the center backs naturally step up high. You see this in Tata ball. I will give an example that everybody can relate to. Go back and look to MLS Cup 2018, goal number 1. Michael Parker steps way up high and makes a tackle, turns the ball over immediately to Joseph, and the rest is history.
Yep.
You got to have somebody back there to help out, though, in case that doesn't work out. 3rd goal in this one, the one that got all 3 DPs involved. Muyumba, as the number 6, is tracking a guy back because Inia Mihai, one of your 2 center backs, is stepping up to win an aerial duel. He does win it. It pings off towards Miggy. The rest is history. But if he doesn't win that ball, then it is 2 Philly players, 2v1 against Lucas Hoyos. Check the odds. You know what I'm saying? So it all worked in this match. And here's the deal. Being honest, Tristan Muyumba has a lot to make up for the past couple of years.
Yep.
But he seems like he's really, really locked in and bought into what it is that Tata Martino is wanting him to do. And while he might not be perfect with it yet, it worked exactly how it was supposed to against Philly. So that right there, it gives you a foundation. And when he was talking to me about, like, they've been working on this 4-3-3. It's a sole number 6, 2 number 8s. You saw it with Galarza and Cooper Sanchez, who, by the way, had a banger of a game as well. They were working in tandem, but having that number 6 that knew his job and did it well, it unlocked the rest of the game. So that's what the article is about. Go check it out. But it obviously has quotes from Tristan as well. But if the whole team is bought in with what it is that Tata is selling, then I don't necessarily care which players are out there. It should be a pretty decent season.
Yeah. Want to hit on something else outside of the match, but before I do anything else from DC, or not DC, anything else from Phillies, we kind of close the book on that match before we move on here.
Do it again.
Do it again. I agree with that. Something else that we should definitely hit on is NWSL Atlanta could have a site gentleman for its training ground / headquarters. Thursday, 5:15, the city of Marietta is going to vote on a memorandum of understanding that will clear the way for AMB to purchase land right across from Franklin Gateway. So, big step for the team. Exciting news for the team. I mean, the vote has to pass. I don't see it not passing, but yeah, good to see that being rolled out. And I feel like it was always going to be Marietta. I feel like it's natural because, of course, Choa is right down the street. LA has been invested. A lady that has been invested in Marietta for years. So, I mean, I feel like this is a formality. I feel like all signs are pointing toward NWSL Atlanta training and being based on Franklin Gateway, right down the street from Atlanta United. And it comes, guys, days after the NWSL 2026 NWSL season begins. Did you guys watch NWSL at all this weekend? Or
I haven't had time. Not that I didn't want to, but
right.
It's been a busy week.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some highlights and I saw a crazy stat that said both expansion teams got red cards.
Yeah, Denver Summit and Boston Legacy. I did not know that until today, but yeah, that is interesting. That's ironic too.
Got to show that you're bullies in the league to start.
Not that much bullies, but
you didn't see the Reds. You don't know what happened.
You're right. I didn't see the Reds. I don't. But yeah, NWSL started this past weekend, and Tommy, as you alluded to, Boston Legacy and Denver Summit playing their first matches in club history. Boston Legacy facing Gotham FC at Gillette Stadium, Foxborough, losing 1-0. Especially, of course, with 10 men. Bianca St. George, I think it's pronounced.
Women.
Canadian international, got red there. And then the other team, Denver Summit. Yeah, Denver Summit losing as well, 2-1 to Bay FC at PayPal Park. Janice Anise getting a red card in that one. So Lindsay Horan, guys, remember, is going to be joining Denver Summit in the summer, leaving France and coming home to Denver, where she was born and raised. So little NWSL update for y'all there. But yeah, all signs pointing to NWSL Atlanta training on Franklin Gateway, the site on Franklin Gateway. I think it's 33, 34 acres. More to come, scarsandspikes.com, as we learn more, as we hear more as well. Jay Fortune, guys, by the way, looking back, like he's on the way back. Tyler, I know you're keeping track of that. Twos are on a roll. They won again. Jay played 45 minutes, right, Tyler?
Yeah, he played all the way through the half. This was his first minutes in months, right? Since he had the foot issue while out on international break. Made it back. The Twos are unbeaten so far in 3 games. They drew the first. They did lose on the penalty shootout that is part of Next Pro, in case y'all don't know, which I think you do because we talk about it. But
you do know.
They did not lose in regulation is the point. Then they won the next game, and they won this one 4-1, and it was a fun game to watch. It really was. But Jay got his first 45 minutes back, and also I thought it was very interesting. Jackson was out there. He is out in Athens, and he kind of noticed he was texting in the middle of the match. He was like, Tristan Mioma's out here.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Galarza's out here. And so it was like a handful of players that came out to show their support for the Twos and for Jay. And it's significant. One, because if you don't live in the Atlanta area and you don't know where Athens is in reference to Atlanta, it is not
close.
Yeah, not close. It's not the easiest drive. It's about an hour and a half on a good day, depending on where you're coming from in Atlanta. And it's not like expressway. You're in the country.
Yeah.
And so for for Tristan and Galarza and some of these guys to go out there after playing a full match, great match the day before, to go support a guy who is in the same group that is going to be competing for that position, that's amazing. That's amazing. So good for them. I think, we talk about that word camaraderie all the time. This is a freaking perfect example of it. Yeah, Patrick said, honestly, that's cool. I love it. I love seeing that kind of stuff. Good for all of them.
3-hour round trip, guys. That's insane. That's without traffic, by the way. So yeah, good for them. Good for them for going up and seeing their teammate Galarza, who never played with. Fortunately, only known for a couple months, Henry.
Yeah. Jay Fortune actually had his first media availability back yesterday. I was there. A lot of the media was there. And it was a very kind of candid press conference where he talked a lot about kind of the process. He explained a little bit more about his injury and kind of knowing that he was going to be out for a long period of time. And, that aside from obviously the physical recovery that his body had to do, there's also kind of the mental aspect of, a professional athlete being off the field for a long period of time, especially in the point in his career where he is, where he was getting regular starting minutes and he was at a good point in his career. He's trying to get back to that now. And now he's getting back to more competition in his position. Because since he got injured, the team has signed Steven Alzate, the team has signed Adrian Gill, the team has signed now Matias Galarza. So he's got even more competition, but he said he's welcoming it. He likes the competition and he's ready to just go compete. And he also I asked him about the moment with Mayumba. And he said, I mean, he spoke very highly of Tristan, said that he's a great guy that's always kind of, asking how players are doing, how everyone's doing, and that, they've gotten along very well since they've played together. And so, yeah, it's always good to see that camaraderie. And I feel like, especially now under Tata, that's gone to another level, I think.
Well, you had that comment too, though, or that I put up there about, and I was actually going to ask you that question because someone said that they don't see Jay playing this season or getting an opportunity. But I thought he gave a great response about, how there's competition and how he's ready to fight for that spot. And that's exactly what you want to hear from a young player coming into a situation here where there's a younger player that's starting weekly than him that can't even buy cigarettes or anything. He's 17 years old. Depending on when
vertical driver's
season,
license.
Yeah, he's probably has to go to prom soon and homecoming and all that. Like he's obviously he's got a lot of things on his mind, but like the competition's great. But again, the part of that is there's just the midfield is so packed with so many players. And perfect transition here. We're about to get one more midfielder in the mix. Oh, that was good.
That was perfect timing.
That was great.
Speaking of midfielders,
I already did the secret transition.
Okay.
Bring him
in here.
All right, Dax McCarty. Dax McCarty, how's it going?
What's up, fellas? That was a great transition. I gotta say, you guys are made for TV.
We do our best.
I'm learning about that. The transitions and the commentator's curse. That's all stuff that you guys are elite at right now.
Have you cursed anyone yet?
No, thankfully. I've done a good job of staying above board. Let's just put it that way.
Good stuff. So I have to ask you before we get started. I'm going to say your Des Moines Menace, but Des Moines Menace, the team you played for, of course.
Oh yeah.
And the U.S. Open Cup last year, unfortunately, did not advance. They lost 3-0 to who they play again, guys? I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Indy 11, I believe.
Yep,
In the 11. So did not advance. Sasha, we know, couldn't play in it because he got a red card last year. So, but did they invite you back to play this year, or any other former MLS players, or no?
They did not get invited back. Honestly, they probably could have used the old manpower, but if they invited me back, I would have politely declined. I am significantly, I think, more busy this year than I was last year. And look, another year older, the back is just, the back is used to more of a golf motion these days. I'm playing a lot of pickleball. I'm basically basically geriatric at this point. So I would have been of no use. Maybe I could have ran around for 5 minutes, but no, those Des Moines boys, unfortunately they did not advance, but they will always hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But Dax, surely you could still make it to the Atlanta United media game this year, right? You could drag along Kevin Egan.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know, man. With how bad Atlanta was last year, I had gotten rumblings of an invite to the media game, and when you have to cover your old clubs and they're not doing well, you have to be honest. It's kind of hard to dress that up any other way. So I don't think they were too thrilled with my analysis, but I think everyone was pretty realistic about what last year was. So
I was really glad that Ronnie Dylan did not play in that media match last year.
Yeah. Would have kicked a couple people.
Not be sitting here.
Concussion, ambulance, hospital.
Yeah. No ankles left at all.
I love it.
Yeah. So Dax, let's talk about the last game, Atlanta United beating Philadelphia 3-1. And we're talking about, is it just Philadelphia being bad this year, which they are now, winless or no points through 4 matches. So I feel like you can look at it from that angle. But you can also look at it from the angle where all 3 DPs are getting involved. Miguel Almiron, had 3 assists. Alexei Miranchuk has 3 goals in 2 matches. Latte Lot scoring for the first time since August. And we were talking about it for the first time in, gosh, I feel like ever.
Yeah.
Latte Lot, Miranchuk, and Almiron have played cohesively together. And I feel like there's plenty of promise, but now you just got to do it against DC and stack those performances together.
Yeah, it was a very good performance. Look, I'm not going to rain on Atlanta United's parade right now and say that Philadelphia is one of the worst teams in the league, which they are. But it is way more about Atlanta United and how they played against the Philadelphia Union. It was a great performance from top to bottom from everyone. And I love how Tata Martino was just unwavering in his message that we're not going to change. Like, we're going to keep going. We are going to continue to do the same things that we have done throughout the first couple of weeks. And we are going to try to eliminate the mistakes, and we are going to try to play better and more cohesively. But it will eventually coalesce into what I want it to look like. And that performance against Philadelphia, it took me back to 2018. It took me back to the days of a free-flowing, swashbuckling attack that crushed people in transition, and Miguel Almiron was almost unplayable, and he was making good decisions in the final third. You had a striker who was dangerous, and then obviously, I guess you could say it was a Julian Gressel or a Tito Villalba who was kind of the foil to the other designated players. And so at this point, Miguel Almiron needed that performance. He needed that game more so, I think, than anyone, more so than Latte Lot, more so than Alexei Miranchuk. And it was, I guess, just proof of concept for Tata that I can get this right. And so
I think we lost.
Oh, no.
I get back in here.
I know I threatened to kick him out.
Put in the sin bin?
I'm back.
I didn't do it.
I'm back. I was just, it's like your technology can't handle me praising the team. It's like,
I know.
it's like
That's not right. Error 404.
What is a win?
The thing is, like, I loved my time in Atlanta. Like, I want them to be good. I picked them, I think, to finish second or third, 2 years ago. or last year. So, like, I want them to be good. I believe they can be good. And this performance goes a long way towards kind of like assuaging my fears that they are going to be diabolically bad again this year, because it started very poor. So all in all is to say, when you get a balanced performance on both sides of the ball, and when you get center backs and a goalkeeper who don't just gift team's goals, well, then your midfield can feel a little bit more secure. Your backline can feel more secure. And then your attackers can go and do what they need to do to kind of have the freedom to express themselves. And it all came together in a really nice way for the designated players. I mean, it's been a really tough go of it. I think, what was that? Atlanta United's second win since last summer, something like that. I mean, just insane numbers that you never associate with the team. I was really impressed with the performance, but guess what, guys? This is the analyst in me saying it won't mean anything if they don't follow it up with another performance against DC United and go on and win that game, because this is a crucial stretch for them right now on the back of, I think now you're getting into your third of 4 straight home games. So you just have to make these count.
So we are talking about the midfield before you hopped in, and one of the players I wanted to ask you about is Cooper Sanchez, because we did not expect him to be starting a game. And you see him in the lineup week 1, and you say, okay, well, there's some necessity. There's some players hurt, got to fill things out. But he just keeps playing every single game. He's getting the start. How does a player feel? Like, if you're that young, 17 years old, and they just tell you maybe the day before, a couple of days before, you're starting.
Yeah.
Like, how does that feel?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't sniff an MLS field till I was 19. So I have pride in getting on the field as a teenager, but tell you what, I mean, 17 years old, I was trying to sneak into UNC Chapel Hill with a fake ID and, you know, have fun, have a good time in college. Right. So, I'm so happy for Cooper Sanchez. Let me put it this way, if 2024, if a Johnny Fortune was my son and I took him under my wing as my son and tried to, you know, give him some advice and, you know, really build him up with confidence, for him. And he had a fantastic season, last year, or 2 years ago then, now it would be, well, Cooper Sanchez would be then my grandson. Okay. And so that's how old I am. But I think that it's a testament to the Atlanta United Academy, and that they can produce a player of his age and of his quality, that Tata Martino, of all people, an old school coach who really wants to trust the players that he plays, has put him on the field every game this year. And full credit to Matt Lowry, who does a lot of work behind the scenes with academy players and who worked with Cooper Sanchez all the last couple of years. He, you know, he said, hey, Dax, Matt Lowry did. He came to me in the middle of 2024. He said, hey, would you mind, you know, just letting Cooper Sanchez pick your brain a little bit? And, you know, he's going to put something together for you and you guys can just have a chat. I said, no problem. I'd love it. So we go into this conference room and Cooper puts together some clips, and they were of me, and he wanted me to walk him through it. And when I tell you guys, the clips he found and put together, you would have thought I was like the second coming of Sergio Busquets with some of these highlights. I said, Cooper, you're automatically one of my favorites right now. You basically put together the biggest and best highlights of my career, and you just conglomerated them all into one place. And you just said, hey, can you walk me through all this? I said, hey, if I could make soccer look that easy, I would have played in Europe a long time ago. I would have been at Real Madrid. So just a really cool experience being able to help a young kid who was maybe 15 at the time. And I told Matt, I said, he trained with us a few times, and I said, he's got it. He has what it takes to make it to the next level. And it's, of course, the technical ability, the soccer brain, but it's also like the mentality was just so strong, and he just didn't care who he was playing against. You knew you were going to be in a tough battle when he was on the field with you. So I'd love to say that my advice helped him, but you know, he was going to make it no matter what. Now it surprises me how quickly he made it, but he just does all the little things right. You know, 17-year-olds, they don't always scan the field. They don't always check their shoulders. They don't always have a good idea of where the next pass is going to go. And look, it hasn't been without bumps. Cooper had some very up and down games in the beginning of the year, but that game against Philly was such a testament to just his ability to stay on the field, stay confident, and just have no fear. And you saw he played well. He played great, just like a lot of the other guys on the team did. So really happy for him. Can't wait to see more.
It was I think a mature performance. That's kind of the word I've been throwing out all week. We'll get that diagram out for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you look back at the first goal, and that goal happens because he knows what's happening on the rest of the field doesn't have to
Exactly.
necessarily pick his head up for very long and plays a beautiful ball up to Elias Baez, straight to Miggy, and then the rest is
Yep.
history. But I guess my question for you now is, as a midfielder, I've been like in the weeds with Atlanta's midfield over the past couple of weeks, and obviously it feels good to be on the winning side of things. And when you see kind of things all come together, but as a midfielder who has played in a variety of systems, can you just kind of explain from a player's perspective how important the number 6 is for Tata Martino's type of ball? I mean, obviously the 6 is the most underrated but highly valued player on the field. You only
Sure.
typically talk about him when something goes wrong or really right, but Tata Martino ball is very
Yeah.
distinct, right? I think so.
It is.
What needs to happen at that position?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. And it's something that I think when you talk about great systems and great teams, you automatically talk about the spine of a team. Is it strong enough to sustain the talented players around it? And the spine of your team really starts with your 6, and then it's your center backs, and it's your goalkeeper, all the way up through to then obviously your dangerous attacking players. And so whenever I was on the field, I knew I was part of that spine. I always asked myself, what am I? What is the game going to require of me today for us to be successful and to win the game? And at some moments, it was for me to touch the ball 150 times and to dictate every single thing on the field with the ball. The ball has to come into me. The defense has to collapse, and then I've got to find the right pass out of it to then spring our attacks, or maybe I need to drop into a certain position to find more space and to be able to play balls a little bit longer. But then at other times, you have to have a 6 who's willing to just roll his sleeves up and kick the crap out of people and break plays up and foul people. And finding a 6 that can do all those different things at a high level is very difficult. It's one of the most difficult positions to fill. So with Tata Martino, he would probably skew towards wanting a 6 that is going to be on the ball and needs to dictate the rhythm and the tempo of a game, needs to know when to slow the game down, when to speed the game back up. And I believe that's why you're seeing Tristan Mayumba play as more of a holding type midfielder, because when I go back to my time at Atlanta United, one of my favorite players to be on the field with was Tristan. It's because you can give him the ball in tough situations. He takes risks. But as a number 8, that's not as detrimental if you lose the ball, but he's so comfortable in possession. He's excellent at driving the ball forward on the dribble. He's a very good passer. He's got a little nastiness about him too, which I think is what Tata sees. The biggest issue I see with this midfield is that they don't really have an out-and-out 6. I would classify Tristan as more of a number 8. I think that's where he thrives, but
That's
against
what he
weaker
naturally prefers.
And that's what he is. But against weaker teams, I love Tata playing him as a 6 because you are going to dominate the ball. You're at the Mercedes-Benz. You're going to have more possession. Tata wants him on the ball, and he wants him dictating the rhythm of the game. But then the biggest issue is on the other side of the ball. Defensively, you lose a little bit of shape and you lose a little bit of balance. And my biggest frustration with Tristan when I played with him was that he had sometimes the ability to switch off in big moments where he would get caught ball watching, and then a guy would run by him, and then all of a sudden a second ball or whatever, and the guy was behind him, and a guy was creating a chance or scoring a goal. And, when you're an 8, you can get away with that if your 6 is behind you. When you're a 6, you can't really get away with that because then you're leaving your center backs out to dry. So there's all these different things where I think against weaker opposition, it really makes sense. Against stronger teams where you're not going to have as much possession, or maybe you're on the road, I don't really see the balance of how Tata is going to figure that out. I like Jakob in midfield for that defensive steal, that presence that he brings, the ability to break plays up. But again, when you're at home, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tata be ultra aggressive because he doesn't really have a number 6. A Johnny, when he's fit, he can do it, but I also classify him as an 8. And just these guys, Atlanta United have a lot of midfielders that want to get on the ball. They want to go forward, and they want to be involved in the attack a lot. And they don't really have a guy who wants to sit in there and just kind of be like, all right, I'm going to get it. I'm going to pass it. I'm going to break plays up, and that's it. Right. If I wasn't 89 years old when I played for Atlanta United, that could have been my job. But at the end of the day, these are things that Tata has to figure out, because I still think there's going to be some tweaks that need to be made against better teams in midfield.
So Dax, we've talked a lot about the midfield. I kind of want to move up a little bit. Let's talk about that front three, the 3 DPs, the main attraction, right? last year, disaster. Didn't go according to plan. Now, Tata's challenge, he said from the get-go, I believe that these guys are complementary, that they can work together. And we saw that start in this game, right? With them combining, with them kind of finding their rhythm. Moranchuk and Miggy playing definitely kind of different roles than what they played last year. Moranchuk playing kind of as an inside forward on the right, and Miggy doing the same almost on the left. Latte Lotta involved in chance creation. And Tata has said he wants all three of them involved in chance creation and finishing, which I thought was something very interesting.
Yeah.
And you only really got to play with Alexi, but I'm just curious from your analysis, how have you seen kind of this, how the three DPs are playing now and how different that is from what we saw last season?
It's much different. They are much more in sync, I would say. They are much more, I think, unified in the way that they want to get the ball and attack and move forward as a unit. I saw really good signs against Real Salt Lake early in the game. And then, Real Salt Lake kind of blitzed you guys for, a couple crazy golazos, and then it just kind of all fell apart. But there were some good early signs. I mean, Miguel, he got on the ball in really good positions. It's just his final pass and his decision-making at times is just so confusing because he has so much quality. Against Salt Lake, I was in the stadium and I was commentating on the game, and I told Evan Weston, my play-by-play guy, Miguel Almiron must have gotten in a great position across the ball at least 50 times, and 47 of those ended up being cleared out by the first defender. And so, look, that might be a slight exaggeration, but every time he got in a good position, Latte Lot, when he made a near post run, the ball went far post. When he made a far post run, well, the ball went near post, and Miguel couldn't cut out that first man. And so you could see these guys are really trying to work with each other, and they're trying to play to each other's strengths. It just hasn't quite clicked. The Philadelphia Union game, that's what we call a get-right game. That's where everything clicks, and all of your big-time players are getting in on the action, and you need that for them to get confidence, because it looked like they were lacking confidence for a long time. And so the first goal, the Latte Lot goal last week, was one of my favorite goals scored in the entire season this year. Doesn't matter what team, any team. That is what I associate Atlanta United and Tata Martino with. If you're not going to crush teams in transition, well, it's this intricate build-up play, but you speed up at the right time, and Cooper Sanchez decided, I can turn, I got to play forward, speed up at the right time. Baez, that goal doesn't happen if he doesn't play one touch inside, right? And because you're changing the rhythm of the game. You can't just make a ton of 2-touch, 3-touch sequences where everyone's getting a touch on the ball without speeding up the rhythm if you want to try to unbalance teams that are pressing you. And so as soon as Miguel got on the ball, you could see Latte Lot. He said, this is where the space is. I'm going to turn. I'm going to run. And Miguel, he had to get the weight of the pass right. He gets the weight of the pass right, which he didn't against Real Salt Lake. Well, then Latte Lot, he can take a breath and compose himself, because, Latte Lot, you can tell he wants to be successful. He wants to do well. But he's just not so composed in certain moments because he's pressing. He's pressing because he really wants a goal. In that moment, Miguel played a perfect pass to him. He was able to take a touch, compose himself, and just pass the ball into the corner. Sometimes as a striker, that's all you need. You don't need to hit a ball 1,000 miles an hour for it to go past the keeper. So that was a great goal. And then a lot of them, what Galarza has brought to the midfield, an understanding with Almiron. I love even the second goal that Jakub scores, where Galarza actually has acres of space to run into, and he decides, well, I'm going to give this ball to Miguel, who's already on a full sprint, and he is going to be the one to make the better decision. And so that doesn't happen all the time. So I think the Paraguayan connection there, the fact that they trust each other, I think that's all plays into it. And he plays a great ball to Miguel, who then plays a dangerous ball across the box. And then lo and behold, you change the rhythm on a team, you get more numbers in the box. Well, you're not crossing it against two center backs and 5 midfielders, right? You're crossing it against 1 or 2 players, and then you have really good chances to score. So all of this is a long-winded way to say very good performance from all 3 designated players. I think Alexi Moranchuk has continued from last year, where he got an unnecessary amount of flack because his price tag is a lot and you expect more out of him. But at the same time, he has been nothing but be relatively productive, I'd say, for the last 6-7 months. I mean, even in the summer, he was productive. So I think if those 3 DPs continue to play at that level, Atlanta United is going to win a lot of games.
I had one observation and then a question about, just MLS as a whole. My observation is, well, not really an observation, but, just a sense about this team and speaking with players that they just need to learn how to win.
Yeah.
Like they've been losing for so long. We talk about Moranchuk, who we just mentioned. This is his third coach. William Ba, this is his third coach. And then you go on down the line.
Fourth, technically.
Fourth, exactly with Rob. You look at all these different systems, and most of it has been losing outside of 2024, the playoff run. I feel like it's just a matter for this team to, again, stack those performances together and say, this is what it feels like to win again. That will just kind of be a weight off the shoulders collectively of this group.
Yeah, that's not a novel concept. You're right. You're exactly right, because learning how to win after so much frustration and so much anger and so much disappointment, that's another skill. I'd liken it to the Seattle Sounders. I mean, how often do you see the Sounders? Okay, they went and made a big splash with Freddie Montero, Nico Ladero, Obafemi Martins. Okay, great, amazing players. Sure. Well, how often do they go and sign players like that? It really isn't that often. They don't really spend a ton of money. And yet there is an institutional knowledge with that organization that we are going to win. We are going to develop players. We're going to step on the field. And even if we play like crap, we are not going to lose. So a lot of that has to do with Stephen Fry, Christian Roldan, Jordan Morris, like foundational pieces that you have to rely on game in and game out. And I'd argue Atlanta United hasn't had that. They don't have those foundational pieces that they've had for 7-8 years now that are just absolute MFers and who will just drag everyone along with them. Brad was pretty much the only one. And he's a 50-year-old goalkeeper. So, there's only so much, an old man can do. But again, you have those foundational pieces. You would expect it to be Almiron, right? And yeah. I would have expected Stian to take more of a role in that. And it just, Atlanta United, they just have to get used to winning again. And then once that happens, bring players in, bring coaches in that all understand what it means to represent that badge and play in front of 50,000 screaming fans every week, because the Benz is one of the best places to play. So they've lost that. They've just lost that since 2019. And it's been tough to get it back because of the revolving door of so much different change and so much personnel change. Fast forward 5 years from now, hopefully Cooper Sanchez has 250 appearances under his belt and he's captaining the team at 23 years old. That to me is what I would associate with, like, how do you want to be successful? Okay, I can go spend $20 million on a designated player that's going to score 25 goals a year, but then what's next? What about what's after that? What's behind that? Okay, so make sure we use more of our academy. I mean, I don't know what goes on for these decisions, right? Noah Cobb, Efrain Morales, like, maybe you didn't see a future for them, but someone did. Someone will give them a chance, and maybe they'll turn out to be fantastic players. Maybe they won't, but those are decisions that could come back to haunt you. So again, you can go so deep in the weeds on it, but to me, I would say, look at Seattle, look at what they've established, look at the culture they've built, look at they just churn out players left and right. And even when they don't play well, they win. Atlanta United, when they don't play well, they stink and they don't win. So they've got to turn that tide a little bit more.
I kind of feel like Atlanta wanted sort of Seattle 2.0 when they hired Garth Lagaway and Chris Henderson, but hasn't worked out that way, of course.
I think Chris deserves some time. Give Chris a little bit more time to make the team his. Look, Chris, he's got a proven track record of success, no matter what people want to say. Seattle, Inter Miami, there's, he's made some big decisions and he's put some teams on a really good path. I'd give him at least a year before you can start really diagnosing what he's doing with that roster.
Yeah. So I had an MLS question, but I wanted to toss to Tommy because I know he had something he wanted to ask you. I mean, we're talking about Brad, but let Tommy ask his question.
Oh, okay. I'll go. Sure. So as the podcast expert here, Brad's been, I think, 3 to 4 weeks into this. Have you had a chance to listen to it? If so, what do you think?
I give him like a C+. I think he needs to get better. I listened to his podcast with Kevin Egan, and those guys, they're just chatting BS, dude. You know, like I'm an excellent pickleball player. Just try to help Kevin Egan, and he throws me under the bus. And Brad, I joked about this with Brad actually, and before the Real Salt Lake game, I said, "Hey, listen, man. If you wanted to follow in my career footsteps, you could have just reached out, and I could have given you some advice." You know. So I'm not surprised. Brad is Atlanta United, right?
Yeah.
You're always going to find a role for him in the organization, and he's got such a larger than life personality that you put him behind a microphone and you see what kind of magic he can make. Look, as a host, he needs some work. Okay, I'm Joe Freihofer is excellent. Brad should let Joe do some of that heavy lifting until he gets a little bit more comfortable being a host and having hosting duties. Now, with that being said, if anyone sends him this clip, you know, he might not have me on his show, which I'm supposed to go on this weekend. So, you know, but guess what? Brad knows I would say the same thing to his face. That's what happens when you have a good friend and it's all love. But he's doing a great job learning the ins and outs of the organization. And I will definitely still be a listener of the Goose and show, even though he kind of talked crap about me a little bit.
Are you going to get him back? Are you going to bring stuff about him to talk about on the show?
Probably. I mean, I've got plenty in the arsenal that I can bring up, but I don't want to, you know, it's his show. Don't want to embarrass him on his own show. So
you should ask him if he's going to be the president of football, because he's almost following in Matt Ryan's steps. Matt Ryan for the Falcons becomes the president of football. It feels like this is Guzan's job to win here.
I'm reading the tea leaves as well. So, you know, maybe that's a few years down the line here, but he's got the chops. I know he did his whatever it was, his master's degree in, you know, sports administration while he was still playing. I mean, that's what I'm telling you guys. Being a goalkeeper is so easy. You can go and take all these different classes in Europe, and you can raise 8 kids that he has, and, you know, live in a mansion and still find time to do all these things and be a great goalkeeper. Being a goalkeeper, if I was 3 inches taller, I would have just become a goalkeeper.
So for all the kids out there,
don't be a goalkeeper.
Advice. Just become a goalkeeper.
Don't be a goalkeeper. God, if my kids become goalkeepers, I'll be heartbroken. But tough job in theory, but, you know, easy job in practice if you look at what Brad has accomplished.
Yeah.
I wish this was Jerry Springer and we could just like bring Brad on right now.
No.
Just to have him and just tell him he's been listening backstage.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
If it was on here, that would be fine. If he couldn't get his paws on me, if it was in person, I would have been like, nope, I'm out. That's a scary individual when he gets mad.
Just got to
run. We hear it on the through Apple TV when he played. We heard it.
Yep.
Oh, I know. I love it.
Well, Dax, I got 2 final questions to ask you. First of all, you talked a little bit about kind of the leadership and character aspect of the team, the culture aspect. Just from our observation, we've talked about it quite a bit. Maybe like last season, a couple seasons ago, you maybe didn't have these situations where, like, for example, a player gets fouled and then you have like everyone like swarming the player or something. Or I don't know what your observation was, because you were actually, you know, on the field back in 2024, so maybe you have a better perspective on that. But I feel like that's especially happening now. We saw that a little bit more, I feel like, in this game, and Miggy also kind of, I guess, finding his voice, you know, speaking with the ref about the penalty call and everything. Just kind of what's your perspective on that, how it was when you were first here, and then maybe your observation on it now, if you've paid attention to that.
Yeah, it wasn't great when I was there, and that was a big frustration of mine, was that you know, I wasn't on the field a ton the entire year until the end of the season, and I would always say to the guys, it can't just be Brad commanding things on the field. There has to be more from guys up and down the roster, and so I still quite frankly don't see it enough. I think that the team needs more, really. And some of that is personality. Some of that is getting out of your comfort zone. Like Stian Gregersson's a great example. He's like a 6'5" Viking who you would think would walk around carrying an axe. And sometimes I want to see more from him on the field because he's a beast. He's physical, he's strong, he's fast. He looked a little rusty against the Union, but generally speaking, he should be an MLS best 11 candidate at center back. Like that's the talent that I think he has. Now, does he have the personality to be a leader? I mean, he could, but he just maybe is like, okay, I don't want to step on anyone's toes here. Bartosz Slisz, same thing. Kind of had the personality, but then he was quiet and he was more of a lead by example guy. But like, you can have a couple of those guys, but you also need vocal leaders who are going to, give guys a kick in the ass, for lack of a better word, when they need it. And I just really haven't seen it enough. And I asked Tata about that before the Salt Lake game. And, he said he was happy. He said he was happy with the leadership from Barakal and Mihai and from Hoyos and Miguel. And I just said, that's great, but it doesn't always look like it on the field. It doesn't always look like guys are demanding enough from other players on the field. So, if you get more of that and it can't just be performative, it has to mean something, then I do think that is a big benefit to this team, especially when things aren't going their way.
Okay. And my last question for you is, and I asked this to all of our guests, and because you are a broadcaster and I'm expecting a good answer here. Okay. Give me your biggest MLS hot take right now.
My biggest MLS hot take right now. It's not necessarily the hottest take in the world. Like, you're not going to burn your hand on the stove type of take. But if you are not getting anything out of your academy, then you are failing and you are falling behind. There are countless examples of roster building where you might get lucky and have a good season, flame out in the playoffs, or you might stumble your way to an MLS Cup. It is not sustainable in Major League Soccer right now to have a winning team, to have a great roster without academy players involved. You can't do it. I fundamentally do not believe that you can do it. Inter Miami is a little bit of the outlier, but even then, they still have Noah Allen. They still have Ian Frey. Yannick Bright is a draft pick. They're still getting a lot of contributions from younger players on manageable salaries. San Diego are knocking it out of the park right now through the super draft, through young players. I mean, their back line has like an average age of like 20, and it's fantastic. Obviously, Red Bull, the same thing. You have Julian Hall, Mehmeti, Dos Santos. Like, you have to figure out ways to get young players on the field, or you will be left behind in Major League Soccer. If you are not using your academy to the fullest of its potential, then I don't believe that you can be successful. So it's not really the hottest take in the world, but some people would push back and probably disagree. But I really firmly believe that. And that's why seeing the Johnny Fortunes and the Cooper Sanchez's on the field is such a Matt Edwards. I mean, you have to find ways to get these guys integrated and get them minutes.
We've called them Red Bull High School this year because I mean,
pretty stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
16-year-olds, dude. I mean, multiple. It's very impressive. Very impressive. So hopefully that was hot enough for you.
Yeah, no, it was good.
That's good. It made more sense than mine.
My Dax.
Got him back.
He was like, I hope it's hot enough for you. And then
drops the mic.
All right. That's my cue, dude. I got my kids screaming at me to put them to bed, dude. I always enjoyed joining you guys. Appreciate you having me. I'll be up there in Atlanta this weekend. So if you see me, say hello.
Perfect.
Will do.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks.
All right, fellas.
Always a pleasure.
See ya.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
I love that conversation because Dax knows Atlanta United. He's played for Atlanta United. He's played for several MLS teams throughout his nearly 20-year career. So I guess not a lot of people better to give an unbiased and unvarnished view about the state of the team today than somebody like Dax McCarty.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Perfect timing too, because I was about to be like, are you going to go watch your previous team that is currently battling against Miami as we speak? Champions Cup.
How is that going, by the way? I haven't checked the score.
Messi scored his 900 goal out of the game of his career. Make sure. Just make sure.
There will be 20,000 tweets about that.
Yeah, I've got like 3 or 4 notifications from the different apps on my phone about it. So I've definitely heard about it.
But going back to the Dax conversation, I really liked his answer to kind of my last question there about just kind of the leadership and the culture aspect within the club, because we talk about it a lot, don't we? Kind of the lack of kind of the team sticking for each other, and now we're starting to hear the rhetoric of, yes, Tata, this is what he wants. He wants the players to kind of fight for each other, right? To feel like pain when your teammate gets fouled or something like that, and then you go and you swarm the guy, right? You make him feel, let him know what's up. And I like that he was honest about, back when he played in 2024 with Atlanta, that wasn't really a thing that we saw. That wasn't as strong. I just liked the kind of what he said and his perspective on that, because he was, throughout his career, one of the best midfielders in MLS, at several top clubs, just tons of experience, and he definitely knows what he's talking about when he says that.
Yeah. I did want to hit on too, just quickly, when he was talking about you got to make the investment in the academy. They alluded to Cobb, he alluded to Morales, Atlanta selling them to Colorado and Montreal, respectively. You don't see, to this point, you don't see a lot of foundational players. And that goes back to my point. Atlanta United kind of wanted to be more or less Sounders 2.0. That's the intent when they hired Garth Lagaway. They hired Chris Henderson. Yes, while Henderson does need time, I don't think the makeup of the team is anywhere near what we expected it to be when those two men were hired. I agree, Henderson needs a little bit more time, but I feel like the seat is getting hotter, I should say. I feel like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, but
no,
the players that have been, I'll say the players that have been brought in have delivered. Galarza, Jakob, Baez to an extent. Oyo still not as much.
He's Oyos, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why he's got 2 O's in his name, because there's 0 in my heart.
That's why his name in Spanish translates to holes. It does. Look it up.
I believe you.
No comment.
Okay, well, Tommy's taking it one way, but
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm really worried right now.
Why are you worried?
Well, not for Chris Henderson. I'm sorry. We just got to pause this for a second.
Okay.
The guy that's delivering my Uber Eats food that we talked about earlier, I looked on the app and it was his first ever delivery.
Oh no.
And I've been going through it. He's asking me if I want like ranch sauce. I'm like, what? He's asking me like all these questions in the app about this. And I take it back that I blame Patrick for all of this. So anything that's talked about for the rest of the episode about tacos, I apologize. It's Patrick's fault. But I'm really worried that my food's not going to get here. But back to what we were at though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's I would say that if the Tata things weren't the Tata guys weren't working right away, and they are here. And if anything, I think Tata is helping Chris keep his job. Like like he's getting things right. Because last summer was not a good transfer window.
No.
Shut up, guys. I saw the comment. I'm not even acknowledging that. I am not acknowledging it.
Yeah.
I am just waiting for my tacos to be delivered to my household.
Sorry. I do agree with you. I do agree with you though. All right, I'm gonna try to actually get some analysis. I do agree with you. I think there's a lot of variables involved with a lot of the signings over the past year and a half.
Yeah.
That you can't attribute to Chris. And at the moment, he's got a lot more that are hitting than missing. And the one pair really that really bothered me more than anything, obviously, is Noah and Efrain.
Yeah.
And it bothers a lot of fans. The only, trying to play devil's advocate here, the only caveat is we can't sit here and look at the actual numbers for the salary cap and the actual numbers for everything else pertaining to, the book. So while I still disagree, if you have to get rid of one of them, get rid of one of them, fine. I don't think you ever should have got rid of both, especially because now you're sitting in a boat where you have two, I think, a decent pairing of center backs. To Dax's point, one that should probably be stepping up as a leader more. One who has had a pretty stable set of games. And then you got one who was not great and then got injured.
Yeah.
So you have two healthy center backs, really. And then some guys that could play center back if you need them to. You got rid of Noah Cobb, who was, to me, one of the best up-and-coming center backs in this league. And so that one bothers me. It always has bothered me. But I think there's a lot of devil's advocate to be played just because you're in this situation where Garth is kind of on his way out and he's not really like super involved. And it was a rough situation, I think, to get thrown into. So I do agree with Dax. I think you got to give Chris some more time for sure before you start pointing the finger too much at him.
Yeah. It looks like Tommy got his burrito.
Tommy, what tacos did you get, by the way?
St. Patrick's Day taco.
Corned beef.
There's a smash burger taco, and I got a shrimp taco.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I was thinking about food. Henry knows why I was thinking of food. And I was thinking of food, and then Patrick said tacos, and then Tina's in a bad mood today, so I got her tacos to cheer her up. So
good. Really good husband.
Point for Tommy.
Yeah.
There you go. Good job.
Good man. DC, how do you guys feeling about DC? Do we want to do predictions or do we have like initial thoughts about DC, who Tyler picked to finish top 4 in the Eastern Conference? Right now they're close, Tyler. They're fifth. They're fifth.
Hey, look at that.
They're putting right Red Bull, so they're close right now.
Hey, we're getting there. I didn't say that it had to be at the end of the season.
No, shut up.
That was
Get out of here.
No, they're close. I mean, nothing about what they've done has swayed me one way or the other. I mean, I think DC is a sneaky, decent team. I don't think they're going to go win MLS Cup.
Yeah.
I really don't. But I do think that, I mean, you've got a guy in Ty Baribo. You've got a handful of guys that came in the offseason that were just good MLS players. And their schedule's not been the easiest here in the beginning of the season, and they've still made it work. So this is not going to be, I think, the DC that you have seen in the past, that Atlanta does admittedly have a very good record against. So that being said, if they go and play Atlanta ball, Tata ball, the way that they did this past weekend, Atlanta should be able to handle business.
Only thing I noticed, guys, about DC is they only have 4 goals this season, 3 of those by Ty Baribo, the other by Mati Pelota. Outside of that, nothing. John Pegula has an assist, but outside of that, there's been nothing. So it's been a little bit offensively challenged to begin this 2026 season, so like Atlanta United was. But they've had I don't know if it's a difficult schedule, but it's been not the easiest. They beat Philly 1-0, which now we see that maybe that's not as big a win as it was on match day 1. Lost to Austin 1-0, lost to Miami 2-1, and beat Chicago 2-1. So they've not been the best attacking team. On the other side of that, they've allowed just 4 goals all season. So I wonder if we see a defensive battle, guys, on Saturday, Mercedes-Benz Stadium between Atlanta and DC.
I feel we lose that battle. To be honest, I
think so.
I think you have to do exactly what a lot of Tata Martino teams did. Mercedes-Benz Stadium for his first round, get up a goal, and let the transition take you to your next goal, and then the next one, and that was pretty much the formula for success last week. That's why I said it felt like 2018 there, because that game flowed perfectly that way. However, we do go back to, like Dax was saying, 2018 and 19, is that a lot of teams came in to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to not play soccer. What they did go into was just play to try to get away with the 0-0 draw or get Atlanta frustrated to try to force that first goal and then quick in transition goal, and then they park the bus for the rest of the game. So you have to worry about that here. But I assume Stion's going to be starting, which I think is going to be great, and hopefully the Mihai Stion relationship can continue to build. But I don't see any changes in this lineup at all.
Me neither.
I don't think you need to.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I think this DC team, it's better than last season. I just don't think it's as good to the level where we need to be like legitimately like super frightened of them as a legitimate contender. Yeah, I mean the teams that they've played, Philadelphia, we already know they're struggling, and they only managed the goal against the Philadelphia, who played almost the entire second half down a man.
That's right.
Austin's a kind of mid team. Miami is a good team, but they're having their struggles now, and you saw that, right? They're not producing to the level offensively that they were doing last season. Defensively, also, I mean, they've always been kind of sketch. And Chicago has just not been what we thought they were going to be to start this season, where we thought they were going to be much better. So
Chicago fold.
Yeah. So that's where I'm thinking, like, okay, the teams that they've played so far, they haven't been like if they played like a Nashville and like gotten like a dominant win over Nashville, I'd be like, okay, then this is serious. But it's not that. So I think Atlanta's coming with momentum. Atlanta has really not just the team, but the players individually. I think Latte Lot, that goal that he scored in the last game is going to be important for him to kind of that was kind of the reset, I want to say, like you hit your goal, your first goal this season, let the rest, open the floodgates. Like this is your confidence boost that you need. And I think it's going to be important for this team to go out and get 3 points, not just in this game, but in the one that comes next. So I think for Atlanta, it will be another 3-1 win.
I didn't even know we were going to predictions right now. I was going to ask Tyler.
Well, I was just going to go ahead and do it.
It's 8:15.
No one can say I'm being negative now.
That's fine. Go for it. I was going to ask Tyler, what style of game do you think we will see? I mean, you can still answer that, but yeah, I mean, what's your prediction as well?
I mean, it's got to be the same. You just have to go play the same type of game you did because, like I said back at the beginning of the episode, this wasn't a win over Philly that was because you just got lucky. This was because your system that you're trying to build actually worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave you some confidence, I hope. The player said it, but you got to carry that over.
Yeah.
So go do it again and go play the same type of game. You've now seen it actually come to fruition. So it can work, which is far beyond anything you could say about last year. So yeah, go do it again. Don't let DC dictate any part of this game in your house. Go handle business. If I'm tweaking one thing, it is if you do go up 3-0 or whatever you go up, you do need to start kind of figuring out how you're going to hold the game at the end and see it out. You can't just give DC the ball and hope for the best. So yeah, I mean that would be my biggest, I think, gripe. But I'm gonna say Atlanta goes 2-0. I want a clean sheet.
For Tyler.
Oh god.
Same here.
No clean sheets here.
Tommy, what do you think? Clean sheet or no clean sheet for Atlanta United?
Well, you were all originally picking clean sheets there last week when we were talking about it, and I was like, "There's no way there was a clean sheet." I was getting a little nervous there for a little bit. I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad I didn't make that bet." And then the goal came, and I was a little relieved, but then Atlanta's pressure just they couldn't get the ball at all after. I was like,
Right.
okay, take it over. I'm going for a wild one. I don't want to talk about defense here. I think it's going to be a 3-2 Atlanta win.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna lean more defensive for this one. Going back to what I was saying about DC has been a little bit attacking deficient, not as bad as Philly has been this season, but they still have had troubles putting the ball in the back of the net. Like I said, Barilla has 3 goals, Pelota has 1 goal, and then that's it outside of Peglo's assist. So I think it's a low scoring affair, and I think that really favors Atlanta United, especially the way their DPs have been playing for the past, I would say, match and a half. But I do think that they continue to play the way that they've been playing. And, the chemistry will only get better with time, guys, between these 3 DPs. And if they stay healthy, if they, can do that, they, that chemistry will just continue to grow. That bond will continue to grow. So I'm going to say 2-1 Atlanta United. It's going to be a little bit defensive. I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet, but I think Atlanta will win to make it back-to-back wins for the first time in forever. Tequila saying 2-2 draw. Based on what I was just talking about, the defensive output for DC. Steven saying 3-1 in the chat. Bruno, of course, with his outlandish prediction 7-2 for Atlanta United.
Well, we did have a 6-1 game this weekend.
Yeah.
So
6-1
can happen.
6-1 6-0. Brett 2-1 Atlanta. Jack 2-0 Atlanta. So feels like a lot of positive sentiment around Atlanta United. If you're watching the show on YouTube after the fact, please leave your predictions in the chat. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave your predictions on social media, or if you're listening on Spotify, leave it as a comment. You have the ability to comment on Spotify, but not on Apple. But leave us your prediction on social media at Scarves and Spikes. At Scarves, the letter and Spikes on that, scarvesandspikes.com. Blue Sky, Scarves, A&D Spikes, Instagram and Threads. I know we're supposed to leave the social media stuff till later, but just wanted to give that a shout out for those watching and listening after when we're live.
And if you're in a bathroom listening to this right now, write your score prediction on the wall. Like just I've done research, guys.
Carve it in.
Two listeners per show watch us in the like. If it's your own bathroom, don't do it. But like if you're out at the bar right now and you're saying I'm listening to Scarves and Spikes, look, there's going to be a time where this is going to happen one time, and you guys are going to say, "That it in, right on the bathroom wall." Atlanta, as long as it's a win. If it's a loss, don't put it up there.
Yeah,
that's graffiti. If it's negative things, if it's not negative, it is not graffiti. It is awesome.
It's just
you can't be arrested for being awesome
and creating art.
Yeah, depends on what you feel like is art, though.
That's more aggressive than mine. 5-4.
It is.
What a fun game that would be.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't want Atlanta to give up 4 goals, though.
Yeah,
I need another dominant performance.
Right, 100%. Great show, guys. I feel like we're in a good mood going into Saturday for the first time in a while.
We're so screwed.
Let's hope we're in a good mood when we get out of that game.
Exactly. No, thanks to Dax McCarty for stopping by. We appreciate always his insight. He'll be calling the match from Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Apple TV, as he said earlier. So, not able to make it out of the match, be sure to watch on Apple TV. Of course, it's a home match, so you can listen to Mike and Jason via the home team audio. If you're listening, if you're watching, or I'm sorry, if you're in person at the match, come see us, come say hi. If you see us out and about, we don't bite. But yeah, say hello to us if you do see us. Anything else I'm missing, guys, before we get out of here?
Shout out to the Unified team that is all situated. That all happened on Monday, and I wish we could have been there. It's just like
unbeaten Unified team.
Off the chain. What's up?
Unbeaten Unified team. They have never lost, by the way.
Yeah.
So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, keep it up.
Great program.
But yeah, big shout out to the Atlanta United's unified team. So that's all set up, and they
Yeah.
got their schedule.
Yeah.
Needs not a name saying 2-1 Atlanta. Let's go.
Awesome. ScarsandSpikes.com is your home for Atlanta United news, analysis, and opinion. Go there for our match coverage. Tyler wrote something about William Ba I mentioned earlier. I wrote something about Cooper Sanchez. Check out those articles. U.S. Men's national team coverage as well. Belgium and Portugal coming to the Benz in not a couple of weeks, but about a week and a half. So check out our coverage for that. YouTube, if you're watching YouTube after the fact, please like, subscribe, and share our content. If you're watching live, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to leave a like. Those do help us out a lot. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or another podcast service, leave a review. Let us know what you think. And please tell your friends, tell everybody you know about Scars and Spikes. Share the word, spread the word for us. It does help us out a lot. Patreon.com.
Write it on bathroom walls. Write it on bathroom walls.
Yeah, I guess so.
Tell and write Sydney sent me.
Yeah.
Right under it.
Don't do that, but Scarves and Spikes or patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes. Please support us there. We are doing a mailbag episode for Patreon backers only right after this show. So if you want to get access to that, go to patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes, as well as other benefits that we have that you can find out about if you go to that.
Join the Discord.
website.
That's the Discord's awesome.
Yeah,
Everyone's
it is.
chatting about everything. We were talking about the Spider-Man trailer today. We were talking about Atlanta United, talking on the World Cup, and we also have a watch-along channel.
Yeah.
Ziggy and I hung out, just the two of us. Everyone else didn't join, but we watched the game together throughout it. So if I'm home and I'm watching it there, I'm usually on there. So come hang out if you're sitting at home by yourself and want to watch it with us. We always do a big group one for a road game, but guys, I realized there is no road games this month.
I know. Next road game is for a while, so yeah, we'll let you know when the next wider watch along for a away match is. Stay tuned to our socials for that. Tyler, where are you in social media? Come off mute.
Yeah. ATL Pilgrim.
Tommy, where are you in social media? Come off mute.
Now I'm on mute. If we go past 8:25, it's always downhill from there. It's 4 M's and then tacos.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Tacos.
Dash hole.
Yeah.
I don't find you funny, sir.
It's okay.
Henry, where are you in social media? Now Henry's on
at HA Higuita on.
Did you do that on
Twitter
purpose?
and Blue Sky? Well, I had to keep the trend going because
Okay, good. You're learning.
Yeah.
at HA Higuita on Twitter and Blue Sky at HA_Higuita on Instagram.
I'm SH Rice on X and on Blue Sky. Soccer, Instagram, and Threads. Scars, the letter N Spikes on X. Scars, ANDspikes.com on Blue Sky. Scars AND Spikes on Instagram and Threads. Facebook.com/Scars AND Spikes. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time on Saturday
Thanks,
for the
y'all.
match.
Okay, then.
Try again.
Oh, okay. I waited. I counted like 1,000, 2 1,000. All right. So someone put in the chat, I forget who it was. They said, I'm going to Uber Eats some Taco Bell. So the important question of the day, what is your Taco Bell order?
Nothing, because why would I eat at Taco Bell?
I can't believe the youngest one here hasn't. Okay.
Well, I have. It's just that I
but what would
learned
your
from
taco-
that experience.
All right. Why do you always got to ruin it, Henry?
Well, because I don't want my digestive system to explode.
Okay.
I'll give you the only answer.
Tyler, we'll go to you. What?
Those
All right.
Tylers.
You're
Here's the
20.
problem.
You're 22 years old. You're at Taco Bell at the drive-in, and they say, "What can I get you at 2 a.m? What is it?"
Nacho Bo Grande and a Baja Blast. Except that was back when I was 22. They don't have it anymore. But that's it. That's the only Taco Bell order.
What
Nacho
don't they
Bo
have
Grande.
anymore?
Huh?
What don't they have anymore?
The Nacho Bo Grande.
Double Grande?
Oh, okay.
I thought they did.
They have like a loaded beef nachos, which they tried to pass off as like something similar, but no, there was something about the Nacho Bo Grande that was the best.
I get what do I get? I get the chalupas, the beef chalupas with Baja Blast and a soft shell taco. That's what I do.
I like it.
I don't like Baja Blast. I had my
You
first
don't?
Baja Blast this year, and I did not like
Yeah.
it.
Interesting.
My
It's
favorite.
not good. I'm weird. I don't like any of the meat at Taco Bell. I've gotten this order since high school, but there was one day I ordered 7 orders of
gosh.
nachos with cheese. So I just had like a big bag of chips and like a bunch of little nacho cheeses. Oh, it's pretty good. And like, do you guys remember, Henry? You weren't born yet. Like, do you remember where like you used to get like 3 bags of Taco Bell to like bring to a party, and it was like $9.99?
Yeah, dude. You feed everybody for like 2 days straight.
Yeah,
Back
for
in
like
the 1800s
20.
when the prices weren't that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember they had
Get
the
it,
box
Henry.
of tacos? Like it was literally a cardboard box that was full of tacos. What a
Dude,
line.
everybody's talking about their orders now. Do we need to do a side like taco podcast? French
Hey,
fries
let's
with
go.
cheese dip. I did try their French fries. They were actually pretty good.
That's pretty solid. Crunch wraps are good. I do like the crunch wraps.
Yeah. All right, everyone. This is probably the longest we've gone, but I figured this was an important topic for us all to discuss. Henry, thanks for ruining it.